Hi there. In this video, we will review the Penguin TV show. If you're not subscribed to Sherlock's reincarnation, please subscribe. After Christopher Nolan's impressive Dark Knight trilogy, Matt Reeves' 2022 movie, The Batman, failed to live up to expectations, partly because of Robert Pattinson's lackluster performance as Batman. On the other hand, Nolan's Batman Begins movie, in which they narrate Batman's story from the beginning, had a great impact on Batman fans. Likewise, the second movie of the trilogy, The Dark Knight, satisfied the audience. In that movie, Heath Ledger played the Joker, but committed suicide at the age of 28 after filming was over. But Reeves's Batman universe left a bad taste in our mouths. Despite that, the Batman spin-off, The Penguin, has exceeded the expectations. The Penguin begins 2 weeks after the Batman movie ends. If we recall the last parts of the Batman, Gotham was flooded due to the collapse of the seawalls after the bombs detonated by the Riddler, and chaos broke out in the city, which was already in trouble with increasing crime rate. We first saw Oswald Cobb, also known as the Penguin, in the Batman movie. Colin Farrell said that the taste of the Penguin role remained on his palate because he did not play the Penguin character for very long in the movie. For this role, he wore a heavy makeup and a jaw prosthesis. The actor got the opportunity to fully portray the Oz character in the Penguin TV show, which was released 2 years after the movie. We do not see Batman in the Penguin. At one point, Matt Reeves and the developer Lauren LaFranc came up with the idea of Victor encountering Batman, but they eventually gave up on it. Matt's films are through the lens of the Batman, so you're high up, looking down on the city, LaFranc says. It's a different perspective. With Penguin, you're in the city streets, you're in the grit and the muck and the grime. He's looking up, wanting to claw his way to the top. Matt Reeves announced Gotham Police Department as a spin-off series of Batman in July 2020. This series would focus on the dirty cops within the Gotham Police Department. The series would take place a year before the Batman, where the Gotham police force reckons with Batman's emergence and its own internal corruption. However, this project was shelved while it was still in the idea stage. Reeves immediately started working on a series called Arkham Asylum, but that was also shelved. The reason both series projects were canceled was because HBO executives wanted series with more prominent and memorable characters. Reeves stated that elements from the canceled Gotham PD series were used in The Penguin. The creator of the series, Lauren LaFranc, states that she was heavily inspired by Penguin comics such as The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and Pain and Prejudice. She also says that she was inspired by real people for the character of Oz, most notably Buddy Cianci, who served as the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island for 21 years. Cianci, a politician who has been in and out of prison and involved in various corrupt practices, also has physical features reminiscent of Oz.
How you doing? Merry Christmas. How you doing? I'm Oz.
In the first episode of the series, when Oz describes the local mobster Rex Calabrese, LaFranc says he wanted to make reference to Cianci. LaFranc focuses on the psychological analysis and character arcs, particularly for the main character Oz. She says that when she pitched the show, she was thinking of the last scene. The scene where Oz was dancing with Eve, though his mother had a stroke and was forced to remain in a bed, shows Oz's delusion, selfishness, indifference, and power drunkenness. LaFranc wanted to create a rise-to-power story, focusing the Penguin's never-before-told past. Meanwhile, the name of the show, which was shot in New York City, was initially planned to be Boss. The show, which was planned to be shot for 5 or 6 months, was released with a delay as the Writers and Screen Actors Guild went on strike. The synopsis of the show is as follows. After the death of Carmine Falcone, a power vacuum occurs in the criminal world of Gotham City. In the midst of this chaos, Oswald Cobb, who is one of the Falcone family's men and nicknamed the Penguin, tries to rise in the underworld by pitting the Falcone family against his rival Maroni family. Carmine's daughter Sophia, who suspects Oz of betraying her family, becomes the Penguin's arch-enemy in the show. By the way, John Turturro, who played Carmine Falcone in the Batman movie and whom we know from his role as Jesus in The Big Lebowski, could not play Carmine in the show due to his busy schedule. Mark Strong played Carmine Falcone instead. LeFranc believes that Oz is a narcissist and that narcissistic characters might be entertaining. She creates a mobster who goes from the bottom to the top, like Tony Montana in the movie Scarface. Oz skillfully applies the tactics and strategies as if he has read the 48 Laws of Power. This allows him to survive and rise to the top by eliminating his enemies in the criminal world. Oz's crooked foot causes him great trauma. His childhood, not being able to play with his peers on the streets and being bullied by his friends, leads to an inferiority complex that he would carry throughout his life. He tries to compensate for his physical inadequacy with his intelligence, cunning, and ambition. The Penguin character is initially a very low-status man in the Falcone family and works as the chauffeur of Carmine Falcone's daughter, Sophia, and no one respects him. He snitches on Sophia, gains Carmine's trust, and becomes his right-hand man. When Carmine dies, he uses the internal disagreements in the family for his own benefit and tries to turn everyone against each other in order to seize power. He always plays double games, stirs up trouble, talks behind people's backs, and acts as an informant for rival groups. In short, he is a person you can never trust. As long as he makes money for the family and is useful, he is respected. Because of his inferiority complex, he always has low self-esteem and thinks that no one can truly love or trust him. That's why he must always think one step ahead, take precautions before others take action against him. He forms alliances and strikes the first blow. The physical characteristics of the penguin should also be mentioned. The penguin is actually a short animal and is known for its waddling gait. Excluding the extinct 6.6 feet mega penguins, the tallest penguins today are the emperor penguins, which are 4.3 feet tall. For this reason, the actors who would portray the penguin in the old Batman movies were chosen from short actors. In the 1966 Batman movie and TV series, the penguin was played by 5.4 feet Burgess Meredith. In the 1992 Batman Returns, 4.8 feet Danny DeVito, and in the 2014 Gotham series, 5.5 feet Robin Lord Taylor. In the Penguin TV show, we see a larger and taller penguin than in the comics and previous Batman movies. The fact that Colin Farrell, who is 5.8 feet tall, transforms into a much larger person with the bodysuit he wears, and that the penguin is good at one-on-one combat can be considered something new for this character. By the way, the actor who played the penguin in the 1966 Batman TV series and film was Burgess Meredith, who later played Rocky Balboa's trainer Mickey. While we are on the subject of physical characteristics, we should mention Farrell's tremendous physical transformation in this role. The actor transforms into the penguin with a 3-hour intense makeup and prosthetic work. He was constantly sweating because of his bodysuit, which makes him look overweight, and for this reason, he had to stand in freezing cold environments between takes. The director of The Batman and the executive producer of the show, Matt Reeves, says that no one recognized Farrell during the first shooting test of the penguin character in the film. Thanks to the extremely natural-looking makeup by makeup artist Michael Marino, Farrell did not attract the attention of anyone around him, and no one recognized him even when he went to Starbucks to grab coffee. During the 3-hour makeup that took place on each shooting day, the actor's long hair was first glued with special hairspray, and then an artificial scalp was glued on top of it, making him look bald. Then, prosthetics were attached to his chin, nose, and ears, and finally, a wig and artificial eyebrows were added. During the 3-hour makeup, music was played to keep the actor from getting bored, pizza parties and long conversations were held, and the actor mentally prepared for the scenes that would be shot that day. Farrell's scenes were shot first due to his heavy makeup and bodysuit. Since industrial adhesives were used on his face and they were scrubbed off at the end of each shoot, Farrell was not allowed to shoot for more than 3 consecutive days in order to give his skin time to rest and breathe. When Farrell first met with director Matt Reeves for the role of the Penguin in the Batman movie, he had gained a lot of weight for the series The North Water. Although Reeves said that he liked Farrell's overweight appearance, the fact that Farrell had to lose weight due to his gout changed the plans. Farrell even suggested that the Penguin character be skinny, but in the end, it was decided to use a bodysuit that made him look overweight. The actor says that if this sophisticated makeup had not been applied, he would have tried to portray the Penguin with only a cigarette in his mouth, a top hat on his head, an umbrella, and a machine gun in his hand, limping slightly, but in that case, the series would not have been broadcast on HBO. Danny DeVito, who played the Penguin in Batman Returns, also underwent extensive makeup. The actor's nose was fitted with a prosthetic to create the appearance of a penguin's beak. The result was a penguin character that was exactly in line with director Tim Burton's style. The time it took for DeVito to put on the facial prosthetic and special costume was reduced from 4.5 hours towards the end of the shoot to only 3 hours. This corresponds to the same time it took for Colin Farrell to put on the Penguin makeup. As I mentioned earlier, the Penguin TV show features a larger-bodied and less cliched penguin than the ones in the old Batman movies and comics. For example, we do not see the Penguin's white face, black circles around his eyes, webbed fingers, top hat and umbrella-shaped machine gun, and caricatured features of Burton's Batman Returns in the TV show. On the other hand, the scene in the series where Oz pinches someone's nose with pliers seems to be a reference to the Penguin's nose-biting scene in Batman Returns. This might also be a reference to the scene in 1974 Chinatown movie. Another thing is that while the Penguin smokes a cigarette with a cigarette holder in the 1960s Batman film and series, we see Oz smoking a cigar in the latest TV show. It is also necessary to talk about the design of the locations in the series. We see the Penguin both underground and on the streets of Gotham. The dark and chaotic Gotham City depiction in the Batman movie continues in the series. Industrial buildings and interior designs, the mansion of the Italian Mafia, the subway system and tunnels offer a wide variety of location options. The streets of Gotham, which were devastated and in utter chaos after the flood, are reminiscent of post-apocalyptic survival movies. The house where Oz stays is actually a jewelry repair shop. His bedroom is actually a warehouse where jewelry is kept in safes. In the series, we see that Farrell's accent has changed as well as his physical change. The actor, known for his Irish accent, portrays Oz Cobb with a thick New York Italian-American accent.
Hi, I'm Colin Farrell. Check out the trailer for my new series, The Penguin.
Where are you from?
Anywhere I'm from.
Where
Don't care where I'm from. Some of your business. Want to know things about me? Why don't you send me a little email? I'll write you back real quick. Where do you live?
Hey, why don't you come
Where do you
down
live,
to
actually? I
Fittest?
can hand deliver a letter to you. I can hand deliver a letter to you.
In addition, visual effects contribute greatly to the design of Gotham, which has been devastated after the flood and turned into a hotbed of crime. Special effects were used in the streets of the city, the flood scene, the dirt and humidity of the exteriors, and the car scenes. In the scene where blood splatters on Oz's face, the blood was added with special effects because it was not possible to use paint that would ruin the actor's elaborate makeup. The Maserati scenes created with sound stage and visual effects are extremely impressive. The series tells the story of Penguin, who is essentially a member of the Mafia, and his rise in the criminal world, while in the 1966 and 1992 Batman films, Penguin is not shown as a member of the Mafia, but rather as a notorious criminal who tries to reach power and wealth or seeks revenge on Gotham City. At the end of the first season, Penguin reaches the glamorous life and power he has always desired and becomes a crime lord. The sequel to Batman, which will be released in October 2026, will start from this point. A different story is told about Oz Cobb's childhood in the series. We learn that Oz and his two siblings were raised by his mother alone, that Oz was jealous of his siblings due to his physical anomaly. His obsessive attachment to his mother and his desire to prove himself to her are decisive factors in his life. His only weak point is his mother, and this forces him to make some cruel decisions. Oz's mother works as the accountant of Rex Calabrese, the leader of a small gang in the neighborhood. Calabrese, who is greatly respected by the neighborhood residents, is almost an idol for Oz. A different story has also been written for the underground Gotham tram line and the connected tunnels where Oz used to play with his siblings as a child. The Penguin's activity and hiding in the tunnels overlaps with some scenes in Batman Returns. Born with an anomaly in Batman Returns, Penguin was abandoned in the Gotham sewers as a baby, and after growing up with animals in the zoo, he went to the circus as a freak. Another issue is his connections with the elites and politicians. He takes advantage of his political connections to rise to the top in Underworld. In Batman Returns, the Penguin runs for mayor of Gotham. In the show, he bribes and threatens City Councilman Sebastian Haiti to get electricity to Crown Point. Later, he meets the councilman in the courtroom, blaming the city's drug trafficking and gang wars on Sophia, and asks for political connections and protection in return. Among Penguin's requests from the councilman is to meet Gotham Mayor Bella Real. Ozzy's relationship with his right-hand man, young Victor, is also one of the main elements of the story. Victor Vic Aguilar, a son of an immigrant family in the slums of Gotham, crosses paths with Oz at an inconvenient time. While Oz is trying to dispose of a corpse, he catches Vic red-handed trying to steal his Maserati, and just as he is about to kill him, he sees that Vic stutters and takes pity on him. In addition to feeling sorry, he thinks he can use him for some things. He spares Vic's life and starts using him as his driver. Vic lives in constant danger of death. Oz has never trusted anyone except his mother throughout his life. Although fear is not considered a good motivation, he needs scare tactics to trust someone. Oz often threatens Vic. "You do anything stupid, I'll sense it," he says. The scene where Oz threatens Vic by throwing him into a grave after his failure shows that his life is always in danger. Over time, Victor's fear of Oz turns into gratitude. As if experiencing Stockholm Syndrome, the man who wants to kill him becomes his family. However, family is a weak spot for Oz. Everyone in Oz's life, including his mother and lover, would stab him in the back, but only Vic would show him complete loyalty. Vic does not actually want to get involved in major crimes. He was dragged into crime while trying to survive on the streets. That is why we can say that he is one of the few characters with a conscience. Oz says on several occasions that Vic is very similar to his younger self. The audience experiences the storyline as Vic does. They identify with Vic and discover the dangerous world of the Penguin. Vic's presence makes Oz's rise in the criminal world more interesting and entertaining, and also keeps the story going by being Oz's lifesaver when he is in trouble. Sofia Falcone Gigante is one of the prominent characters of the show. Kristen Milioti gives a great performance in this role. After being discharged from the mental hospital where she was forcibly put and tortured, Sophia, whose mental balance deteriorates even more, is sometimes funny and sometimes scary. She drives the story. Falcone's biological daughter Sophia is admitted to Arkham Asylum on the charge of being a serial killer called the Hangman. In the later episodes of the first season, we go into Sophia's past and learn who is behind the conspiracy set up against her. We see how the painful experiences she had in Arkham Asylum shaped her life. Ever since Kristen Milioti decided she wanted to be an actress, she had been dreaming of playing one of Batman's enemies. The first Batman movie Milioti watched in the cinema was Batman Returns, where the Penguin was the villain. Deirdre O'Connell, who plays Oz's mother Frances with dementia, did a very good job. The bond between Oz and his mother is very strong, and this is actually Oz's softest underbelly. Because of his fondness for his mother, he has a relationship with Eve Carlo, a stripper who physically resembles his mother and is a dominant woman like her. The last scene where Oz and Eve dance is a reference to the scene when Oz danced with his mother at Monroe's Jazz Club when he was a child. The dress Eve wears and the hairstyle are the same as Oz's mother. While dancing, Eve talks to Oz as if she were his mother, and says that she is proud of him, confirming Oz's Oedipal desire for his mother. Oz, who does not know that Eve betrayed him, keeps her as a substitute for his mother. By the way, the ex-husband of British actress Carmine Falcone is Jeffrey Wright, who plays Lieutenant Jim Gordon in The Batman. Another detail is the striking resemblance between the Batman director Matt Reeves and Lieutenant Gordon. His mother has raised Oz and his siblings alone with difficulties. That's why Oz wants to prove himself to his mother and to gain her appreciation. However, there are some important issues that both of them know about and avoid talking. His mother is keeping these issues to herself and suffering from dementia, perhaps because she wants to forget the past. Oz's relationship with his mother is very volatile. He both wants to show her how strong and successful he is and gain her appreciation, and at the same time, he does not care about his mother's real wishes at all. In a way, he wants to keep his mother by his side for his own satisfaction and ego. In the last scene, Colin Farrell likens Oz's attitude towards his mother to Norman Bates's psychosis in the movie Psycho. For Colin Farrell, the most unforgettable scene in the series is the one where Oz pulls his dementia-stricken mother out of the bathtub. Oz's dramatic relationship with his mother has been the element that has affected the Irish actor the most in the show. Another interesting detail in the show is Salvatore Moroni's ring. This ring symbolizes power, as in the Lord of the Rings. When Moroni goes to jail, his ring passes to the Falcone family. Oz, who uses this to increase the hostility between the two families, returns the ring to Moroni. Eventually, the ring is left to Oz. By the way, the names of the main characters are also interesting. The Penguin, known as Oswald Cobblepot in the comics and the 1992 Batman Returns movie, is shortened to Oswald Oz Cobb in the series. In addition, Sophia's surname Falcone is a bird of prey. Vic's surname Aguilar comes from Aguila, which means eagle in Spanish. In other words, there are bird references in the names of the main characters. In conclusion, the Penguin TV show is a gripping production full of tension and action from beginning to end. Colin Farrell says that Oz is always under pressure until the end of the series, always face to face with death. Indeed, just when you think that the things have calmed down, a new action occurs. Each character has a secret plan, and this surprises the audience in many scenes. We already know that the point where the first season ends will be connected to the Batman's second movie. The Batman sign appearing in the sky in the last scene, and the letter written to Sophia by her stepsister Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, are proof of this. In short, I strongly recommend that you watch The Penguin. If you liked the video, you can subscribe to my channel. See you soon.